morning and welcome to Biology 2 class. Now we are in the final chapter, Humans and the Environment. So in this chapter we will learn about many types of pollution. So what is pollution actually? Pollutants. They are contaminants that get introduced into the natural environment beyond permitted limits and cause deleterious effects to the environment in a visible way. So this definition by Panigrahi et al. 2019. Sources of pollution, you have air, water, noise, soil, and light. So first one is air pollution. So air pollution, it is due to the presence of pollutant in the atmosphere. Sources can be either human activity, for example from car emissions, factories, agriculture, open fire, biological, wildfire, sulfur from volcanic activity, methane for animal digestion can also contribute to air pollution, not just humans. Some pollutions are poisonous, so it means that when you inhale them, you'll have health problems. People with heart or lung diseases, older adults and children are at greater risk from air pollution. And air pollution can also happen within the house, not just outside. Effects of air pollution: acid rain, tree damage, global warming, and ozone depletion. Major sources of air pollution can be carbon oxides. So carbon oxides, they come from incomplete combustion of fossil fuel and burning. CO2, these are the one example of the greenhouse gases. So greenhouse gases, they can trap heat from the sun and cause the earth to be much more hotter. So CO or carbon monoxide, they will compete with oxygen in the red blood cell. Next will be sulfur oxides or SO2. So they come from industrials, from the cars also, and also from oil and coal combustion. So these can react with gases to form sulfuric acid, which can rain down on us as acid rain. So SO2 plus water vapor plus ozone, it will create H2SO4, which is sulfuric acid. This will be what we call acid rain. So sulfur oxide itself, it is corrosive pungent gas that irritates the respiratory system. Nitrogen oxide, NO and NO2. So they come from motor vehicles and industry. Nitrogen oxides, NO or NO2, they come from motor vehicles or industry. They can react with other gases to form nitric acid, which is also a form of acid rain. NO plus sunlight plus O2 will become NO2. NO2 plus atmospheric gases, it becomes HNO3, which is nitric acid. Within the house, we have the VOCs, volatile organic compounds. These are methane, benzene, propane, and CFC. So these are organic compounds, they have carbon, and they are able to be vaporized. So that's what we call volatile. So they come from motor vehicles, industry, and household products. What will they cause? Eye, respiratory tract irritation, memory impairment, numbness, loss of nerve sensation. Some of them may be carcinogenic or cancer causing. Famous cases. In 1272, King Edward I of England banned the burning of sea coal in London because of the smoke it created. And 1858 would have the Great Stink on the Thames River in London. And recently, we actually have our Southeast Asia haze. So last year, we had a very bad one. Even the year before, we also had the very, very bad one. Okay, so it means that it is happening every year. So about the Great Stink of the Thames, it happens in central London in July and August 1858. So it is caused by hot weather. It worsened the smell of untreated human waste and industrial effluent. So Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, they attempted to take a pleasure cruise on the Thames, but they returned back to shore because of the smell. It's so terrible. So within a few minutes, they paddled the boat back to the shore. At the height of the stink, between 200 and 250 tons of lime being used near the mouth of sewers to overcome the smell. So lime, if you add it to water, it can remove the smell. Okay, because it will clump the dirt together. So this was solved permanently by a new drainage system for sewers. Because back then, before the sewer system was made, all types of waste were dumped directly to the river. Okay? But with a drainage system for sewers, there will be a network of pipes just for transporting the waste fecal matter from humans, which is separate from the liver. So it will be not be mixed together with the river water. So our haze in Southeast Asia, it actually happened many times, but 2015 was one of the worst. So it affected Indonesia from at least late June to end October. So it slowly spread to Singapore and Malaysia due to air pressure wind caused by forest fires resulting from illegal slash and burn practices. So Sumatra and Kalimantan is where it happened. And it spread quickly in the dry season. Okay, on 24th October, the pollutant standard index PSI reached 3,300. So this is one of the highest for our country. At 800 API or PSI, everybody had to stay inside. You cannot go outside because the haze might irritate your eyes, may irritate your lungs. It will be harmful for health. But somehow in ground zero it is 3,300. So you can imagine how it is. The visibility will be quite low. You cannot see anything. It's all foggy, and just breathing outside, it can cause you to choke and cough a lot. Okay, people even die due to the very heavy haze. So what causes the haze will be peat fires and open burning. So the haze, okay, it comes from fire, but the fire is actually not a visible fire that we know. The fires are deep underground, maintained by organic content in soil. So heavy rain in Sumatra and Kalimantan, because rain, it cools down the soil, it actually caused the fires to be quenched. Okay, so the fires were kind of like were put off, and the air quality actually improved. So the fires had generated around 600 million tons of greenhouse gases, roughly equivalent to Germany's entire annual output. Solution for air pollution: SO2 and NO2. Okay, we use coal and fuel with less sulfur. For factories, we can use scrubbers. Scrubbers will filter the factory smoke before exiting the smokestack. Power plants can switch fuel from coals to natural gases, because natural gases, when they are burnt, they will just create CO2 and water, no other gases, no other toxic materials. In cars, you can install catalytic converters in your exhaust to decrease NO2 in car smoke. Okay, to reduce the creation of these gases, generally, you must try to make sure that it's less cars on the road. So that can be achieved by carpools or public transport. So plant trees to absorb CO2. This is one of the ways, because CO2 is needed by plants to make food. So more trees, more CO2 can be absorbed. We can also discourage open burning, because open burning will be the easy way to dispose of garbage. So we must try to warn neighbors to not do that. Okay. And other than that, we can also switch to alternative energy sources that do not create gases that can pollute the environment. For example, hydropower, wind power, geothermal or solar. But most of this actually depends on the location. Okay, so hydro, maybe we can have. Wind, it actually needs an area with very high wind velocity. So our country doesn't have that. Geothermal, it needs an area with a lot of activities in terms of seismic, okay, any seismic movement, okay, any volcanoes. So these can be used or harnessed as energy, but we don't have that. Solar, okay, solar needs an area with a lot of sunlight. So Malaysia can be using this, but we do not use this a lot, because the main hurdle for Malaysian solar power will be the cloud cover. Although we have almost 12 hours of sunlight per day, but due to the cloud cover, we have so many clouds that the sunlight cannot reach. Okay, it actually cannot reach the solar panels all the time. Next session, water pollution. Water pollution is a contamination of water bodies, making toxic to humans and environment. Water bodies on Earth, you have lakes, rivers, Okay, those are on the ground. You also have underground, which is groundwater, and you also have oceans. Sources can be either from factories and industries. For example, factories, they will release a lot of chemicals and industrial effluent. In the industrial effluent, we have metals such as mercury, lead, and other types like cadmium. So these can poison the water. Other than that, some factories, they release hot water. We call it thermal discharge. When you have thermal discharge released in the water, oxygen will actually bubble up and be escaping the water, lowering the concentration of oxygen in the water. So this will cause a lot of the animals, a lot of animals, a lot of organisms underwater, they will die because of lack of oxygen. Okay. Farmlands. Farmlands also have a lot of sources of water pollution. For example, from runoff. And so the thing is, as a farmer, you use a lot of chemicals to boost the output of your farm. Okay, you would also use a lot of pesticide. So all of these chemicals, they are persistent. Okay, whenever you spray, okay, it can stay there, and when rain comes, it will cause runoff. Okay, other than that, sedimentation. And so you have a lot of soil on your farm, right? But you know how hard rain it is in our country. So when rain comes in, when rain hits the ground, the rainwater will sweep the soil together along the terrain. So that's what you call sedimentation. So all of this soil will be dumped to the river, causing sunlight to be blocked. Okay. So what nutrients there is in farmlands? A lot of farmers use fertilizer, right? But due to the nature of the runoff, all of this fertilizer nutrient will actually be flowing into the water bodies, causing eutrophication. Because all of these nutrients, who likes it? Of course, it is the algae. Algae likes it so much, they will multiply. Okay, they will multiply and it will cause eutrophication. It will steal all of the oxygen that is in the water and nutrients. It will block sunlight. Okay. Effect of water pollution. This is one case in Japan called Minamata disease. It is discovered in the city of Minamata in Japan. So it is caused by release of methyl mercury by the Shizu Corporation chemical factory. So what is the chemical that is released? It is what is it? It is actually methyl mercury. So not just mercury, but methyl mercury. Okay, so any metal, that actually has a little bit of combination with organic content, means that it can absorb into the body tissue even easier. So the thing is, when it's released in the water, what lives in the water is fish and shellfish. So people eat the shellfish, they will eat the fish, and also some of the water flows into the rice field. People eat rice, they will all get the methyl mercury, causing them severe nerve damage. Solutions: upgrade treatment plants. Okay, so for treatment plants must be able to filter the water. Okay, no more pollution. Okay, the thing is, to do that, a lot of costs have to be incurred. Okay, for our country, we are able to filter all of the fecal matter. Okay, that's good. But most of the toxic material cannot be filtered. So whenever it is released to the water, the whole plant have to be shut down for a while, and they have to deal with the source of that pollution. Then they can reopen it again, because our plants, our water treatment plants, do not have the filter for those pollutions. Okay. Next, output control. So these will be technologies capturing pollutants from waste streams. Mean that you know that you are a source of pollution. You want to control your output so that it will not be contaminated. Okay. Input control. Eliminate the production before it reaches the water. In farmland, you have to have erosion control and also release salt water into shallow ponds, which is called cooling. So let's see, for a pool of water, if it has a large wide area, okay, they mean that there's more surfaces for it to cool down. So when you release hot water to these shallow ponds, it can cool very easily compared to in a small area. Noise pollution. What is noise pollution? It is elevated, unwanted, or disturbing sound that interferes with daily activities and reduces quality of life, according to the EPA. So millions in America alone suffer from health issues due to this invisible pollution. Sources can be either from industrialization and construction, for example, from heavy machinery. Other than that, the place that you live in, okay, can also create pollution. For example, due to poor urban planning, roads, space between houses, which is too close, congestions, too many residents per area. Okay, we also can create a lot of noise when we are together. Okay, when we are in a social event, for example, parties, ceremonies, and night markets. Transportation, the cars that you ride, all of those can produce noise. Road vehicles, aircraft, trains, they produce heavy noise. Over time, normal hearing is lost. So it's not really good if you have a house that is near a train track or a road or a highway. Inside a household, there's also a lot of noise sources. For example, loud appliances such as the vacuum cleaner, blender, dryer, grinder, TV, or radio. Effect on your well-being: you lose sleep, you have hearing loss, you also have cardiovascular disease, for example, high blood pressure. Stress can happen, okay, where you have nothing but noise every day. You have fatigue, and then it can cause aggression. People will get angry. And for daily work, we need to be concentrated. We need to concentrate. So you have distractions and low productivity. Tinnitus, which is ringing in the ear, and lastly, disrupting the mental health. In animals, there are some effects. For example, there's a study done on razor monkeys in the lab. So 30% increase in blood pressure following exposure to an average of 85 decibel low at night, high during the day for 8 months. For mice, sound actually stress mice and makes them much more susceptible to disease. And due to that, they are unable or less able to learn mazes. And for mice which actually are pregnant, so they experience more than 40% abortion in embryos. 60% reduction in fetal weight when exposed to 82 to 85 decibel, equivalent to a power lawnmower for 8 hours per day. Solution: you can soundproof your space. Okay, you put soft things around your house to absorb noise instead of reflecting. For rugs, curtains on windows, furniture bookshelf against walls can soundproof yourself from noisy neighbors. You can also mask or cancel the noise. You can use peaceful noises or white noise. Noise cancelling devices use a microphone to intercept incoming sounds. So they will then send out an anti-noise signal to cancel the noise. Earplugs. It is soft, moldable into ear chamber and blocks 90% of the noise. If you can avoid it, you have to move away from the area. If you are within a government, laws can be created to prevent loud noises or put buffer areas between noise source and homes. Trees along the roadside can absorb sound. Soil pollution. Soil pollution is the presence of toxic chemicals in the soil, high enough concentration to pose a risk to the environment. Contaminants are naturally found in soil as compounds formed through decomposition by atmosphere, water bodies, and others. Major sources can be any type of sources where any pollutants are spilled on the surface of many different activities. For example, industrial waste, urban waste such as garbage, sewage, deforestation, loss of trees that protect the surface soil from intense heat, and agricultural practices, fertilizers, herbicide, manure, etc. And biological agents. These are products of microbial metabolism. So chemical degradation is responsible for 12% of global soil degradation. Solutions: reduce the use of pesticides and fertilizers in agricultural activities. Support organic gardening and eat organic food that will be grown without the use of pesticides. Avoid buying packaged items as they will lead to garbage and end up in landfill sites. Buy biodegradable products. Create dumping ground away from residential areas. And lastly, bioremediation. Use organisms to destroy the garbage instead of just throwing the garbage away to rot. Final one, light pollution. Light pollution is the excessive and inappropriate artificial light. As a major side effect on urbanization, it is blamed for compromising health, disrupting ecosystems, and spoiling aesthetic environments. It blurs eyesight and causes discomfort, for example, heat. It is estimated that 20% of the world population can no longer see the Milky Way from where they live. According to Scott Cardell from Palomar Observatory, so our galaxy, Milky Way, can be seen on clear night skies without any light pollution. Sources: city parks, airports, public spaces. Many of these areas use many old-fashioned lights that are not shielded and have a lot of it emitting light upwards. Residential areas. Light pollution in these areas tend to be the glare or spillover type. Electronic advertising boards and commercial centers. These would have large neon electric signboards in the cities. The light that they use are not be directed, so dispersion will be more than intended. Effects: birds who migrate by night by the moon and stars are confused by these big city lights. Lured downtown by buildings, they circle endlessly, collide with towers, and die. Female sea turtles with eggs to lay avoid the light. If the beach is too bright, they will not dig their nest. Nighttime lighting can impair a plant's ability to generate phytochrome. Abnormal levels of this photosensitive hormone can have consequences for the plant's flowering cycle, seed germination, and dormancy. So as you can see, this is the difference between an inner city sky, suburban sky, rural sky, and an excellent dark sky. Only in the rural sky you can see a lot of stars. Suburban, maybe you can see a few bright ones, but city skies and inner city skies, it is nearly impossible to see any of the stars. Solution: no floodlamps, low watt light bulbs must be used. Use motion sensor switches. Close curtains at night to keep indoor light in. Shields on lamps to prevent blinding. Controlling lighting adequately. Areas of ecological importance must be safeguarded from light trespass. Controlling angle of light. So it must be downwards, not all directions. Before you go, look at this saying: those who help nature end up helping themselves. With that, that's the end of our chapter. Thank you for being a student for Biology 2.